Imagine for a moment that you were the main character of your own movie and that you forgot you were assigned this role. In this movie, the scenes you experience are not random, but an effect of what your character believes is true. Behind the camera, there is a director whose goal is to arrange other characters and circumstances that reflect the main character's story. This is done with the purpose of ensuring the audience is entertained and or learns from the on-screen interactions. With that in mind, I'd like to introduce you to Andy. Andy is a loser. Wait. Andy believes he is a loser because he is a virgin. A long time ago, he came to the conclusion that there was something wrong with him. Circumstances in life left him feeling like he could never get it right. Poor Andy doesn't know what to do with this situation, so he defaults to the same thing that most of us also do. Andy internalized this feeling and kept it deep inside him ever since. In doing so, he convinces himself that the thing that he wanted wasn't meant for him, or at least not yet. And so the story goes, Andy moves on and pretends nothing ever happened. Little does he know the director has other plans. As an adult, Andy has a life that he claims to enjoy, but not fully. Unbeknownst to him, the emotions he felt the day he didn't lose his virginity got stuck. Trauma doesn't leave our body because we reject it. We carry it right along with us. Everything changes for Andy at the moment he decides to leave his comfort zone. Out of pity and perhaps necessity, his coworkers invite him to a night of poker and he says yes. Andy is certainly out of his element and spends the night pretending to be someone he is not. His emotions surrounding the belief there is something wrong with him steers the interaction he has with his coworkers. He's not accustomed to being inauthentic, so he's caught lying and asked outright.
Are you a virgin?
He can't admit it. He's so embarrassed of the truth that he's made up a story that made him feel better. We can all be a little bit like Andy sometimes. Having a somewhat masochistic way of playing tricks on him, the director of the movie arranges circumstances in such a way where it forces Andy to be seen as he truly is, but the shame is too much for him right now. Andy has no idea the audience is watching his every move and gets a good laugh out of his constant suffering. He is humiliated. He keeps lying to himself, telling his friend David that his life is very fulfilling, when deep down he knows he longs for more. Later, Andy doesn't want to think about X anymore, but finds himself repeatedly in situations where he has no choice but to focus on it. The thing that gives Andy the most fear and resistance is, in the most ironic sense, also what he needs to face to realize his dreams. Having been convinced to give a hookup a chance, even though he feels it is wrong for him, he finds himself with a new opportunity. Andy struggles to say no in his life, so he allows a drunk woman to drive him back to her place after she's had several drinks. Experiencing yet another setup from the director, Andy is put into a position where his intuition and reason are in conflict. Part of him says he wants to experience more in life, and the other part of him is saying, I'm not sure it's safe. Realizing his dreams, in a sense, is tied to his ability to discern what is and isn't right for him. His low self-worth drives his interactions with men as well as women. When we believe we're not good enough, we have a tendency to believe outside events are the source or cause of our problems, when in reality, we are perpetuating patterns by making choices fed to us by subconscious beliefs. These choices draw circumstances to us as they are drawn to Andy. All of this occurs because we unconsciously divert from the feelings which arise in our body to something outside of us in the hopes that it will make us feel better. I would like to clarify, we do exist within paradigm where our decisions are heavily influenced by external forces. So this isn't to say that we necessarily choose our circumstances outright, but that our choices create ripple effects which draw in varying circumstances to us. The director knows when conditions are right or not, and not a moment before provides an opportunity for the character to make a change or decision for themselves. One of Andy's greatest personality traits is that he remains open to any channels the director may be willing to communicate with him through. This is how he meets Trish. The world starts to reflect Andy's efforts, and what appears to initially be a big win for him brings up a whole wave of fear he almost forgot was there. Andy's friends lead him to believe that he isn't ready yet for a woman like Trish. He is persuaded into changing himself in order to fit the mold of what his friends think Trish thinks Andy should be. As convoluted as that is, from the most sincere place, his friends are attempting to fix what isn't broken. The reason why Andy isn't able to find a woman or mate isn't because there's something wrong with him. It's because he believes that he isn't good enough to experience that. Until he begins addressing the way he feels about himself and his self concept, he's doomed to repeat the same pattern. After some failed attempts, and finally having enough of his friend's help, in a fit of rage, Andy finally stops thinking and asks Trish out. And immediately they hit it off. Instead of Trish shaming Andy, she finds him charming, funny, and intelligent. Things escalate between them pretty quickly, and they end up interrupted the first time they try to do the do. Trish doesn't tell Andy that she has children because she's ashamed of what he might think about her. When we think parts of ourselves are shameful, we will not allow ourselves to be fully seen because our existence itself is inherently wrong by our own definition. Fortunately for both of them, Andy accepts Trish as she is. They decide to abstain from sex, and their relationship begins to flourish as Andy begins to appreciate the parts of himself he once thought was the reason he was still a virgin. Not only does he find life easier, he also is realizing that he is a great salesman as he was promoted without even really trying. After several dates, Trish creates a space where Andy feels safe enough to talk about his dreams of owning a video store. Having asked Andy why he hasn't started yet, he responds with, he doesn't have enough money. Trish immediately sees a way for him to realize this dream as he's literally sitting on a gold mine, his action figures. For the first time in the movie, he doesn't have someone that shames him for the choices he makes, but believes he can have more for himself just because he deserves it. Trish's enthusiasm rubs off on Andy and he opens up a path to his new future. What Andy goes through in The 40-Year-Old Virgin is what it takes for us to realize our dreams. We must be willing to let go of our attachment to our past, the grip that comfort has on us. It just means that we stop identifying with the parts of our past that chain us to stories that no longer serve us. Like Andy, we need to begin to appreciate every part of ourselves and see how it is all working in our benefit. What is needed in your life is for you to become your own Trish. For you to recognize your own gifts, your own talents, your own abilities, and for you to say yes to life. Simply put, open yourself up to the possibility that the director wants you to realize your dreams. It wants you to be the unique expression of life that you are. Be authentically you and don't be ashamed about it. And the moment you truly feel what I'm saying in this video, your life will change in ways that you could have never imagined.